Good morning, everybody. It's Marty the JavaScript Party. My buddy Rhett. There we go. There you go, girl. So yesterday was a very exciting day where I work. It is what's known as Crossover Day. I think all the states have it, but I'm not sure about that. But I suspect they all do. And it's basically the halfway mark halfway through the whole session. So a session in Georgia is mandated to be 40 days long, and that's when they do all the laws and stuff. Basically, that's what it all comes down to. And hit reload. And so yesterday was the halfway mark, so that means that in Georgia, I don't think this is the way it is everywhere else, but in Georgia, that means that if it has not, a bill has to go through two different houses, the Senate and the House, or two different chambers, the Senate and the House. And um, if it hasn't made it through the other chamber, like if they haven't moved it all the way through their chamber on the other side, then it is they won't the Senate will not accept anything that after today that hasn't been after yesterday that hadn't been made it through the House, and then vice versa. And I believe the rule was created by the Senate, but is followed by the House as well because they're like, well, then we won't take any of your stuff. So that's how that works. But yesterday was a big day. I suspect they were on until midnight or something. But at least the House, I bet the Senate got out early, but the House probably stayed pretty late trying to get something to the Senate before the end of the day. All right, so now we are working on the space and time application. Um, I didn't realize this, but I think I always do this. It just goes a lot faster, but I usually anytime I start working on any kind of code, I immediately just start making a narrative in my head of, okay, how have I gotten here? So in 2000, it is 2026. It is March 7th, 2026. It is we're in Marietta, Georgia. I'm in Marietta, Georgia, and it's 69 degrees Fahrenheit, which most people consider anything between about 68 and 72 to be like the perfect filling weather. So it is absolutely beautiful outside. All right, so we have gotten here because in 2024, I spent a whole year building out an application that was really nice. It was really, really nice, but it had some serious flaws. Some of them were architectural, some of them were technical, some of them were features like, oh man, it would be nice to have this feature, that feature, blah, blah, blah. So I made the decision in 2025 to just burn it to the ground and start all over again. So that has gone so slow, and it's just because as we move through, it just one rabbit hole after another. Things are technically more difficult than other things, or just concepts like that I've been sort of struggling with for decades. That it's like, oh my gosh, I have an opportunity to do it. But we kind of started working through just like the traditional CRUD methodology. So that's create, read, update, delete, CRUD. But so what I did was I did the create. So here's the create. You can see it. We create one. Boom. And then I did the read. We can read it. We can see it. And then I did the delete. So we can go over here and we can hit delete and it goes away. And then I started working on the update. So let me just reload. So we're adding our visualization. We go to update. And I kind of started working through all of this. Um, but I was very frustrated because, or at some point, what happened was so I was working kind of through this and all that, and on the update, and just ended up going down some massive rabbit holes. Um, so distractions, things that like were like, oh, that shouldn't be a big deal. Let me take care of this, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh wait, that's not a big deal. And it all kind of the origin story of all of that was that when we came here and I hit delete and then hit add viz and then I hit update, I was like, wait a second, why is this not one? Why are we not on the first one? It was like 11. Two makes it sound better than it is. It's definitely not good. But so basically, I was like, okay, I missed something on delete. So that's how we ended up going, oh, okay, so now let's work on delete. It ended up just going down a whole different subject matter completely because now we have data and we needed like a table so that we could see. Well, I wanted to add, so I had like a console log that would give me all the information so I could kind of wrap my mind around what was going on with deletes. But I realized I couldn't like just formally lock in that functionality. And the way I had like in this application was the first time I ever worked on Cypress or end-to-end testing at all, like where I cared. Normally, I have had to work on places where we have end-to-end coding, but the thing is like um, what happens is that like you're just trying to get it done. You're just trying to pass it. You couldn't really care less about it. This is the first time where I really cared about it, and I realized, oh my gosh, once you get something on end-to-end test, you've locked that feature in. Like you won't ever lose that feature in the future because when you go to run tests, it's gonna fail. Um, so I just have absolutely 100% am absolutely just confident that all applications, well, all web apps would benefit from end-to-end testing. I also did take unit testing very seriously on this. I'm still not 100% convinced that that's a good idea in general, but boy, have I really benefited from it. But anyway, so we created this entities thing, and unfortunately, since I didn't officially make it a button or anything, because I always thought this was gonna, I've been thinking this is just gonna be like a a analysis tool just for like for technical analysis, not for actually building any entities or anything. It's just more like a way to be able to troubleshoot things and stuff. Um, so I never gave it links because I don't really want that to be like kind of a norm or an expectation, I guess. So hit this and we got these. And see, these are all the renders, and this is how I describe the screen. So now, fortunately, now that we're in this, we can hit this button and see all of those entities describe this. And so now hit back. And so I ended up like when we delete, the only one we delete is this one. All the rest of them still exist. And that is without a doubt what you would call a classic memory leak. But like memory leaks are typically very difficult to describe. So this is one of the best descriptions that I've ever seen. Maybe the best description I've ever seen. Actually, this is the best description I've ever seen. So if I come over here and I hit delete and then I hit back, you'll see that we still have these objects. They still exist, but we're not using them anywhere. We have no way of using them. They're unused, but they exist. So they are consuming memory right now. Most web pages, like a lot of web applications, like you use them for, if you use it for more like half hour, an hour, and you're clicking around, your computer gets slower and slower and slower, and then you have to restart. And that's because of this. It's because, like, let's say we were working along trying to get things done. There's no reason why we wouldn't end up with hundreds of thousands of these things. And then initially, I actually, in these objects, I actually had references to actual um, ThreeJS objects and actual Angular objects. And then that was keeping those things alive, keeping those things in memory, even though they weren't existing either. But I wanted to get rid of that, and the main reason I wanted to get rid of that is because I want to be able to import and export. Like that was one of the things that was just absolutely heartbreaking on my last application was that like I built these really cool visualizations, but then they were done. They were the word ephemeral. They only existed while the application was up, and then they were gone forever, and there was no getting them back. So the I did toy with the idea, and I kind of wish I'd gone down this road a little bit just for the experience in Cypress. But I did toy with the idea of, oh, I could build a Cypress, and I don't even think I was into Cypress yet, but I could build an end-to-end script that pushes the application to stuff, and then I could have like reproducible things by that, and just pick the script that I want to run it, and then let it leave me in the condition I want to be in. That's a good idea, probably I never I built this application from the ground up for Cypress to work with Cypress. I don't know if we could have got everything working with Cypress on that because we didn't build it that way. Boy, the dogs are having a good time. Anyway, so now we're at the point where I'm like, okay, so I want to be able to just look at one kind of animation, like this table, but with just one kind of ST entity, and and all that, and that put me into a whole different set of rabbit holes, which ended up like probably the most impactful one was that I have never really done like a serious analysis of routing for a web application before. Like we sort of just build these things ad hoc. Normally, we just like, oh, we're just gonna throw a route. We're just gonna throw a route. I've never really been like, I mean, I have worked in places where they took routing really seriously, but not really. Like they took it really seriously in that they had thousands, tens of thousands of routes, and that they were all in like modules and the routing modules, and they were all like loaded and lazy loading and that kind of stuff. They took that kind of thing really seriously, which was, is extremely important. I'm not trying to diminish that, but they never really took like from a like okay, so this first thing is we categorize it this way, and then the second thing we categorize it this way. So that was kind of the very first time I've ever thought of that. But basically, I think I came up with the idea that generally or that always, these first thing is going to be my layout. So this is a data layout. This is a tabular layout. This is a custom layout, tabular layout. Let's see, add. And then this is our update layout. And then we also have, curious if I can just hit back now. Yeah, we can hit back. So as you see, we do have like a whole nother application built out now. We have ST renderer 9, I mean 2. We have ST renderer 1. ST renderer 1 doesn't exist, except it does. It still exists to consume energy, but memory, but we don't have any like we can't see it. It's just wasting memory. So, anyways, so the idea was that this is called our layout, but then this thing over here, I can't remember what I wanted to call it. Let's see, routing layouts. So okay, so this is our routing layout detail. So we have our routing layout. I add the word type because it's not a interface. So I thought maybe it's be helpful to me to know that it's a type. And then this is routing layout detail type. And so entity, in this case, entities is our detail type. And the detail type could also be blank. I don't think in this one we don't have any like blank entities, but maybe we will in the other ones. Especially update, it wouldn't surprise me. But right now the only detail types that we recognize are ST types, which if you look at that, you can see that that's the ST render, that's these things over here. Entities, the word entities, and blank, which I don't even think we support blank. Maybe we do. Yeah, we don't support blank. Um, so maybe it makes sense to not even have. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this at the moment. I'll probably end up putting it right back, but I don't think we want to. Well, actually, no, we definitely want to. Control Z. We definitely want to support blank because, like in this view, it's blank. So I guess we need to support blank. So anyway, so at this point, we have our 7 entities, and I want to go to ST animations, and I think if I hit ST animations right now, it'll reload the whole page, so we'll lose what's in memory. and then this. All right. So, anyways, that is that. And then what we're going to do now is, I guess, try to get this to filter by ST animations. I think we built out all the infrastructure over the week, but now I want to filter based on this. So the initial story is delete any animations associated with the delete, but not used by. And that has nothing to do with anything we've been working on. Because right now we're just working on a way to see it so that when we delete it, the Cypress can go over there and see that it's gone. So, I want to have a set Cypress test specifically for animations. So it will create something, go back over and check to make sure that the animation is gone. And then I'll end up doing the same thing for all the rest of them too. And that probably seems like a lot of extra work, but the thing is like if I I imagine there's going to be a time that I'm just highly focused on animations. There's going to be a time where I'm highly focused on geometries and material and all those things. And I think being able to just go look at materials will be really helpful. Um, but and I still have no idea what to do about like linking to it. Um, but anyways, so let's go ahead and I guess the next thing to do is to look in the console log. So we are 16 minutes in, and I just started kind of, we just started work. So 16 minutes of just ramp up. So we have our router type, which is ST animation, and we have our route type. Okay, I don't even know what one's on line 56 and one's on line 74. Okay, so it looks like, or 65 and 74. So it kind of looks like I started working on a new function or something that gets called. Um, and it's probably in this app data layout component. I had toyed with the idea of having a different component for each one of these, but I don't think that makes sense. Okay, so here's where we have our apply filter router ST type filter. Yeah, I like that name. And it returns a filtered records. So let's just see if we can get that right. All right. So I don't know. It doesn't just no. So filtered records is blank at this point. And is F12, F12. So filter rec, which is what we would expect. Okay, so what we want to do is we actually want to return a new object. I guess the best way to do that would be to filter it, right? So I believe I could take records and I can say filter. And then I can give it an arrow function. And it's going to get a ST security table record. I'm just going to call it record for now. ST entity record. ST record. And then return ST entity record dot. So here's where this is the whole payoff right here for me, the biggest payoff for TypeScript. Dot type, right? So I was able to it could help me. It could tell me, okay, these are one of the four things you could be comparing again. Equals router value. And then this is really nice too. And for a lot of people, this is actually the bigger thing, was that it checked to see that this type and this router value are like can only be, they're both the same thing. So we're not trying to compete. Like if I change this to a string, I change that to a string. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's okay. I don't know. But I was kind of expecting the transpiler to be like, yeah, you can't compare a router type to a string, but I guess you can because they're kind of the same thing. Um, what if I say it's an ST table record? Then they're completely like different. Yeah. See, so now, like, if you mouse over, it'll tell you, hey, this, you can't really compare those two. Yes, you can. Let's see. I want to go look at that. Go to definition. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. ST types. But routing detail type. Okay, so there's so routing detail type can be a empty string and ST types or entities, the word entities. So, okay, so if it's entities, we do not want to apply the filter, right? We want everything if it's entities. And then, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll worry about, like, you can't even get to it right now. I guess we'll worry about blanks sometime in the future. Okay, that is the wrong one. So we're going to say that if okay, so that's the current router detail, router layout detail type. Okay, so we're saying that if this is not equal to, there's only a few choices. If it's not equal to entities, then go ahead and update the filtered records. And I guess we're probably going to want an else. And then this is kind of, you're judged fairly harshly, so you don't want to do what I was about to do. I've seen so many people who don't know anything about coding have very strong opinions about people who say not instead of the positive. So if it's equal to entities, then else we're going to do this. So then I guess I need to add a filtered records. So table of records, this is all records, filtered. And this isn't really filtered. That's a bad, that's a route filtered records. And this is the ST entity table record is equal to, and this is records filtered based on route. All right, so our router filtered records, if it's entity, then it's just equal to tables, or it's the same thing. Now it's kind of weird because it is literally the same thing. So it is the same values, but it's actually the same piece of memory. Whereas down here, we're going to assign it to a different piece of memory. So that means the code on the back end, or on the, not the back end, but on the on the browser will probably may have some really weird things happen that we just like work in some cases and not in other cases and stuff. Because on line 66, we're saying router file records is the exact same piece of memory that this table records is. But then in this one, we're saying that router filtered records is actually a brand new, a whole different piece of memory. So it is very, 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 very possible that we're going to end up with some funny little, it's very difficult to not, well, it won't be difficult for me, but it would, like, a lot of people would have no chance of figuring it out. A lot of like sort of junior developers and stuff, they would never, they this concept of sometimes it's the same exact object and it's the exact same object. Sometimes it's the identical object that has all the same stuff in it. Sometimes it's two different objects, but they have links to all the same stuff. I mean, it's just like there's all kinds of very strange and funny little things that can happen. Now, I don't think we're not. Oh, yeah, we are actually filtering the record. I don't doubt that's doing me any good anymore. Now, you may be curious, like, okay, so why are we like, why not just do this in line, this thing here? And it's like to do the filtering, just like right in here. And it's because I don't really like this in general. I'm actually going to end up making another, instead of this branch, making another function that calls and handles this so that it'll be much easier to unit test. But so let's see what happens. We are in animation. We're hoping, I believe all we should see are animations now. Nope. Oh, and yeah, that's because we didn't actually tie it to the table. And an observation that I made last time, which was like, oh my gosh, it was just like a bing in the head, was that, oh my gosh, this um totally decouples user filtering from the actual data assigning, which makes a lot of complexity go away. It's really nice. But router. Okay, so what we're hoping now is that when I hit this, yes. Okay, all we see are those. Okay, so that's a win. Okay, so oh, I guess we need to also check entities. If I hit back, will it? Yeah, there's entities. Oh, it, but I don't think. Well, maybe it's broken. Oh, it is broken. Okay, so for some reason, router filter. So I don't know. Let's hit F12. So filtered records still comes out blank, which is weird to me because it seems like we should have gone into here, but we didn't. All right. What is our detail type? Oh, wrong one. Did I misspell it? I have extra TIT in there. Uh, okay, so okay, so something is really, really, really. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. All right, so going to go to this definition, and then we're going to go to this detail type. And we are going to spell this properly. Entities. Like, man, now it's like, dude, what the hell? You just misspelled this. And there we go. Play it. Play the record. Okay, so it looks like we are here. Are we? Yeah. So that's good. So this debugger. All right. So we're getting in here now. So that is what we expected. Add this, and we should see them all. And then what if I go forward? Will it? Yeah, it just deleted everything. And we add this. We should only see that. Now what if I hit back? I wonder why in some cases, see, because if I go like this, right, and then I hit back, and then what if I hit back again? Oh, we're back at update. Yeah, so I'm not sure what to do. Okay, so we're gonna go here to ST animation. We're gonna add. No. Yeah, we're gonna add. I'm curious. And then we go here. Now we hit back. I wonder, what I could do is I could make these router links. Oh, I can't because I took the whole thing and made it into. I wonder if I should put like a little drop down. So once we're in here, we're good. We can move around and we won't lose data. But yeah, I feel like maybe a little drop down with the entities and animation in there that routes you there. So again, here's another detour, right? Like it's not really like a rabbit hole because rabbit holes generally you're going deeper and all that, but it's just like while we're here, I guess this would probably be like in a lot of places what they would refer to as gold plating, where like you ask for something, but then once you see it, you're like, oh, can you add a little bit more? Oh, wait, no, can you add a little bit more? Oh, can you change this a little bit? So that's kind of the process I'm doing. But basically, tomorrow I want to add another input here, like a drop down. Um, so I have this map form field, then I have this filter, this label, then I have this input, and then I have that. And so I think what I want is another map form field. And what happens if I just put two of these side by side? I'm just trying to put myself in a place where I can easily come up to speed tomorrow. Let's see, does it end up being like all the way across? Okay, yeah, and that's probably not what we want. Probably what we want is for it to take like half the space up. Um, what are these called? Entity type. Entity type. But instead of it being like two of those, we want them to be the same. I don't know. What happens if I just get rid of this in the middle? Curious if it ends up going side by side and just taking up. Okay, so I wonder if I put this in a div. Now I'm just playing around, just having some fun. div. Div. And then what if I say style and display flex? Oh, perfect. And then I wonder, I guess what we'd want is style. And I never do this. This used to have like 90% of websites you would see these inline styles everywhere. That has really gone away. And now I would say it's gone away to the point where like most developers have never even seen it. Literally have they're like, Wait, you can put a style inline?" It's like, yeah, you don't want to do that. Don't do it. I mean, you definitely don't want to go to like a finished product that. I mean, it is possible you might. Oh, that's the problem. Okay, let's go back to one. You might want to, like, if you were like something that's small, like teeny tiny. If you're building like a little teeny tiny web app, it might make some sense. Yeah, I think that looks nice. But what we want this to do is be a drop down instead of a. Let's go look. It's like anytime this is the kind of thing that where I'm like, man, like I don't want to just keep going, but it's like it's gonna be so much faster for me to do it today than to try to come up to speed, spend like 16 minutes come up to speed tomorrow, and then try to figure out, and then try to figure this out. Not only that, but it'll probably actually help me. I don't think I'm sitting thinking now, like, would this be better? Like, if, well, I guess I could have a drop down with checkboxes. So we'll be able to easily upgrade to that if we decide we want to be able to see more than one type at a time. So here's a select option. I think this is what we want right here. Oh, that's a time picker specifically. Yeah, I think this is what we want actually. This is for me for tomorrow. Let's put this right in here. Because I don't even think that's going to be my label. And I don't even know how, let's see how that works. I'm curious. Yeah, so it should be pretty obvious tomorrow that this is what I need to do. Gave myself a link and everything. So I want to drop down and basically I want to be able to select entities or one of these types. And then, because I think we actually were thinking, oh, okay, now I'm going to have to build this out for the other kind, but actually I don't think so. I think I can come in here and I don't know, what's another one? ST camera. I don't think it, I think we'll lose the data though. Yeah, see, so basically we ended up doing it for all the types. It's all done. So I thought that was gonna be five separate efforts, but it's all one effort. It just worked out. It's nice. Sometimes stuff works that way for you, and sometimes it doesn't. It's really easy to kind of get it's you got that real. I think it's called survivor bias, where you only see things that like work. Like the things that didn't work didn't show up. Like they're not around anymore, so you can't really think about it. So this worked out really well. For but where we just suddenly had this working. But we are now adding a whole new thing that we hadn't even thought of before today. Yeah, before I started this video, never thought of it before. But I need a drop down where I showed the different types, and then that fortunately that is going to be all browser like UI. Not, I don't think we're going to add much, if any, logic at all, because yeah, I think the router links when they select that, it's just going to do a router link to the other one. So I don't think I guess I could probably put that in the markup itself, like with a router link or something. But I think I would rather do it in the HTML. But I definitely want to be able to move around between these um, without the data getting redrawn. So yeah, like how when we go here, the data doesn't get deleted, but when we go here, the data still doesn't get deleted. But then if we manually change the URL, then we lose all our data. And I think for me, like a big reason I'm spending a lot of time on this specific thing is because I really had never really been exposed to the differences in like a lot of issues that I've had in the past with at jobs trying to get stuff done and not quite understanding what was going on, like are all make sense to me now because that's why you need the router link. You need the router link to tell so you can communicate to the browser, hey, I don't want you to wipe out the memory as you move through. But anyways, I think next I'm gonna be in the here. I'm gonna check on my wife, make sure everything's going okay downstairs. She's doing a show too, but she's just doing the performance part, and I just set up the recorder for her. It should be recording, so I just need to go down there and check that out, make sure everything's coming up, and then when I get back, I'm going to work on my I believe it is the what's it called? Say hello, and I believe I'm focused on the HT access and trying to get my application out at I like email to just behave properly. And again, another routing thing. This is all about routing, but more of an Apache DreamHost thing than it is a Angular thing. But anyways, happy coding everybody. Bye.